I'd like to share a little bit more about my kind of process over the last few days, where I'm at, and hopefully it'll be useful for you guys. But before I do that, I want to share something from the Tao Te Ching. Some of you are familiar with that book. It's written by Lao Tzu, who was a Chinese philosopher. I think it was written in the 1300s. I'm really not sure. I have here the Stephen Mitchell translation of the Tao Te Ching, and there's 81 proverbs. I read one as part of my morning practice every morning, and I've been doing that for the past 10 years. And oftentimes, every day really, I read the one that I need to hear. And the one that came to me today, I read them in order, and it just so happened by synchronicity that this morning's was number 29. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks. It's like so timely. So I'd like to share that with you guys now. Number 29. Do you want to improve the world? I don't think it can be done. The world is sacred. It can't be improved. If you tamper with it, you'll ruin it. If you treat it like an object, you'll lose it. There is a time for being ahead, a time for being behind, a time for being in motion, a time for being at rest, a time for being vigorous, a time for being exhausted, a time for being safe, and a time for being in danger. The master sees things as they are, without trying to control them. He lets them go their way and resides at the center of the circle. Resides at the center of the circle. And that's what we find when we show up to our practice. We find the center. And from the center, we allow things to go their own way. Sometimes things go the way of a global pandemic. This is new for us in the Western world, but this is not new in other parts of the world currently, and certainly not through history. So I thought about that and reflected upon the great teachers and sages and saints that have gone before us and left the texts and the teachings and the way things were when they were alive. Famine, pandemic, war, chaos, violence, and yet they still found the time to abide at the center of the circle and let things go their way. And now we're faced with some things we didn't plan for. But that's the way it goes. And the degree to which we've steeped ourselves in our practice before all this happened is the degree to which we're not surprised by what's happening now. Because one of the insights that we gather from the practice, from the meditation practice, is impermanence. This knowing in our bone marrow that nothing lasts and that things can always change and do change and will change. So when we spend time in solitude with ourselves, sitting every day, contemplating impermanence, the boat does not get rocked the way it does for others who are not fortunate enough to have discovered these practices that we commit to. I don't pay so much attention to the news intentionally, consciously. And so I was very much in the dark about this whole thing until last week or so. And as it really started to land that this is real and could be serious, I got rocked. I quarantined myself and I neglected some of my practices, my daily routine. Wasn't as robust as it typically is. And I wallowed for a day or two. I think it's worth mentioning that we have to know, we have to allow ourselves the permission, give ourselves the permission to feel what's coming up and also to distinguish between what's ours and what we are feeling through the collective. There's a word that might sound esoteric, the psychosphere, the collective feeling vibration of a mass of people. It's a real thing. The biosphere is a real thing. The atmosphere is a real thing. The stratosphere is a real thing. And so is the biosphere. So if we're practicing sensitivity and stillness, then it's only natural that we would be affected by what's happening in the collective. And that's what happened to me. And I allowed that. And then after a day or two of fear and uncertainty and doubt, I found this strength and this deep calling back to my practice and this aha epiphany that, oh, this is what we are built for. This is what we've been practicing for. This is an opportunity to be of service. People need us. People need our practice. Even if we stay in our apartments or our homes and not go outside, your practice is still service for the collective. And so I felt this deep call to show up, to be about it. And I felt so fortunate, like I said, to have these practices have already been a part of my life for a long time. And I couldn't imagine just living the way I lived for a day and a half in fear and doubt and anxiety. I couldn't imagine living that way with no refuge from it, with no practice that I could use to ground my body and my mind, find the center of the circle. So us lucky few here in this time have these tools and these techniques and these practices that we can commit to for ourselves to hold the space for our own uncertainty and doubt and fear and anxiety. And for the people who depend on us, the people that we see every day, and for the people that we won't see. What is our contribution to the collective in this time of uncertainty? I found over the past few days and today, I've had a busy day today. I taught a class earlier and I had a few clients, and I found that my willingness or the opportunity to be of service, taking that opportunity makes me feel really, really good. And so, one of the things I wanted to address with you guys tonight on this call is seeking out the opportunity to be of service. Always, but especially in this time, for yourself, for your own peace of mind, but also to be helpful, to be useful. Who knows what's coming? I don't know. We don't know. I've heard it said by some special forces guys, we can look at the world as sheep, wolves, but then there are sheepdogs, the ones who keep the wolves at bay and protect the sheep against evil and steward the sheep against fear and anxiety. And so I feel a really strong call, and I look into the eyes of every man on this call. Step into the role of sheepdog, take care of people. And the wolf that we face right now, it could be a disease, or it could be mass fear or anxiety. And who knows what it could be 2 months from now? I don't know. But I'm going to be ready to help. And I say this to affirm it, you know, to affirm it in reality before you all. And I also say it because I know you're all cut from the same cloth. That's why we built this thing. That's why you found this. So here we are, a collective of men who are committed to bringing theory into practice. I thought a little bit about the hero's journey. This idea that whatever life hands us is meant for our evolution, for the evolution of our consciousness, so that we can embody that thing that we are supposed to become. And so whatever is happening as an accelerator toward that, if it's viewed as such. But if we take that perspective, we can't selectively choose. We can't say, oh, well, the promotion is meant to evolve me, my hero's journey, but getting shit canned isn't. That includes a global pandemic. There's an opportunity here for all of us on our unique path of purpose and becoming. This is an opportunity, and this can be used as an accelerator to show up. So I encourage all of you guys to look at this through those eyes. And it's a reminder, like Justin said, this is nothing new. If you've been paying attention, if you've been committed to your practice, if you've been sitting still, if you've been quiet, then the insight of impermanence has landed. The knowing that everything you have and everything you love will be taken from you at some point has landed. The insight that you can't keep any of it has landed. And the insight that you don't know when it's going to be taken from you has landed. So we've all, I think, on this call, had some opportunity to metabolize that. And now we're living in a society where that is being force fed to people who have never contemplated it before, and they're afraid. And there's anxiety and fear and uncertainty in the air. But us lucky few have already grappled with these dragons. So we have the space to hold not only our own fear and doubt and anxiety, but for others. And we can be of service. And it can be as subtle as a gentle smile to somebody, like, hey, good morning. I said good morning to a few people this morning, and it's a gift. When people are walking around tight and tense and afraid, just subtly let them know that, hey, I'm ready, I'm here, I'm around, and I got your back. Good morning. I'm your neighbor. This came up in a call the other day. I never met my father's father. He was dead before I was born. But apparently, one of the expressions he used to say was, do you need makes a poor friend. And the wisdom in that expression is intuit what you think the people around you need and give it to them. Rather than, hey, do you need some water? Do you need some food? Hey, do you need X, Y, Z? We can be the ones that start to create a culture of calm by being of service. So I'd encourage all of you to sit with that. Do you need makes a poor friend? And to put some good out in the world. Because this is what we've been groomed for. This is what we've been preparing for. I got a text from an old friend today. She asked, hey, are you okay? I said, I'm built for this. My whole life has been a preparation for this. And it's true for me, and it's true for all of you too. We need you. We need each other, and they need us. So this is Tribe. This is what it's about.